In the tranquil suburbs of Connecticut, Sophia Bennett lived what seemed to be a perfect life. Colonial-style houses lined tree-shaded streets, and Sophia, a devoted stay-at-home mom, spent her days tending to her cozy home. Married to Ethan, a successful lawyer, and mother to two adorable children, Lila and Oliver, she always put her family first. Each morning, Sophia woke before sunrise, preparing breakfast and lunches for her kids, ironing Ethan's suits, and tidying the house. The steady rhythm of her routine offered a sense of familiarity and safety. But deep inside, Sophia felt a void she couldn't quite articulate. She once dreamed of completing her business degree and opening her own small shop, but those aspirations were shelved to allow Ethan to focus on his career. Late at night, as the house settled into silence, Sophia often wondered if she had lost herself in the pursuit of building this picture-perfect family. The dreams she once held close now felt like distant echoes, overshadowed by a life of endless routines. What Sophia didn't know was that her seemingly serene life was about to be completely upended. A painful truth would soon pull her out of her comfortable routine, forcing her to face difficult choices and rediscover the woman she had once been. It all began on a quiet Thursday evening while Sophia was preparing Ethan's clothes in the laundry room. A crumpled receipt from an upscale French restaurant slipped out of his suit pocket. Sophia picked it up, her eyes landing on the amount. $528 for a dinner. A strange, uneasy feeling crept over her. That night, Ethan had told her he was working late, attending an important client meeting. Sophia tried to reassure herself. It's probably just a business dinner. But a small voice in her head whispered that something didn't add up. In the following days, Sophia pushed the unsettling thoughts aside. She didn't want to accuse Ethan of anything without reason. But he had been growing distant, coming home late, constantly checking his phone, and giving vague answers to her questions. Finally, unable to ignore her instincts, Sophia decided to confront him. One evening after the children had gone to bed, she placed the receipt on the kitchen counter and asked, "Ethan, what is this about?" He froze, his eyes briefly flashing with surprise before shifting to guilt. "It was just a work dinner. I didn't want to stress you out," he replied. Sophia took a deep breath, trying to stay calm. "Then why didn't you tell me? And why have you been so distant lately?" Ethan sighed heavily, his gaze dropping to the floor. "Sophia, I'm sorry. I made a mistake. I've been seeing someone else. Her name is Camille. She's pregnant." Sophia's world came crashing down. Her chest tightened, her heart aching at the words. Every sacrifice she had made, every dream she had given up to support Ethan, all of it now felt like a cruel, deliberate betrayal. The air seemed to thicken around her as the weight of his words sank in. She stood, her voice shaking but resolute. "Ethan, leave. I need you to leave the house right now." Ethan tried to explain, but Sophia wouldn't listen. As he walked out the door, tears streamed down her face uncontrollably. She had lost the husband she once loved, but in that moment, Sophia knew she had to find strength, not for Ethan, but for herself and her two children. In the days after Ethan left, Sophia was consumed by pain and uncertainty. She tried to stay strong for Lila and Oliver, but in the quiet moments of the night, she felt her heart breaking into pieces. The future now loomed as an uncertain void. One morning, as sunlight streamed through the kitchen curtains, Sophia sat with a cold cup of coffee. Scattered on the table were an unpaid electricity bill, her children's school fees, and a flyer for evening business courses. She had once dreamed of finishing her degree and opening a small shop, but those dreams had been shelved for far too long. "Enough," she whispered to herself. It was time to reclaim her life, not just for her, but for her children. Sophia enrolled in an evening business program at a local college. The idea of going back to school at her age was daunting. Doubts crept in late at night, whispering that it might be too late for her to start over. But every morning, the sight of Lila and Oliver's hopeful faces reminded her why she couldn't afford to let fear win. At the same time, she began job hunting to find more stable income. After weeks of applications, Sophia received an offer for a direct assistant position at Anderson Enterprises, a renowned tech company. The role required working closely with the company's CEO, Lucas Anderson, a young and talented entrepreneur. Uncertain of her abilities, Sophia hesitated, but with encouragement from her children, she accepted the offer. On her first day at the office, Sophia felt out of place in her worn-out business attire, but Lucas quickly put her at ease. He greeted her with a warm and respectful smile. "I'm so glad you've joined our team," he said. Lucas soon recognized Sophia's meticulousness and creativity. Not only did she excel at her tasks, but she also suggested innovative ideas to streamline processes. During one team meeting, she proposed an improvement to the company's data management system, which caught Lucas's attention. "This is an excellent idea, Sophia. I'd like you to work with me to implement it," Lucas said after the meeting. Although the work was demanding, Sophia began to rediscover the joy of doing something she loved. However, balancing her studies, her job, and caring for her children remained a significant challenge. Many nights she stayed up late working on assignments after putting Lila and Oliver to bed. There were moments when she felt so exhausted that she wanted to give up, but the sight of her children's smiles always reignited her determination. Lucas, noticing her dedication and resilience, became more than just a boss. He became a quiet supporter. He often asked if she needed extra time off to care for her kids, or gently encouraged her when she appeared overwhelmed. One day, after Sophia completed a major project, Lucas sent her a simple email. "Sophia, I'm truly impressed by your professionalism and dedication. Never doubt yourself, for you're capable of great things." That email brought tears to her eyes, but for the first time in years, they were tears of hope. Sophia felt she was slowly reclaiming herself, step by step. As time passed, Sophia grew increasingly confident in her role as Lucas Anderson's direct assistant at Anderson Enterprises. The job not only provided her with a stable income, but also helped her rediscover her sense of purpose and value. Yet, what she didn't anticipate was the growing connection between her and Lucas. At first, their interactions were strictly professional. Lucas frequently gave positive feedback on projects Sophia worked on and didn't hesitate to commend her creativity and diligence in front of colleagues. However, their conversations gradually became more personal. Lucas, with his polished demeanor and thoughtful nature, often inquired about Sophia's children. "Does Lila still enjoy painting? She seems so creative," he asked during a private meeting. Sophia was surprised to realize he remembered the small details she had shared. One day, when Oliver came down with a high fever, Sophia had to leave work early to take him to the doctor. That evening, Lucas unexpectedly called to check in. "Is Oliver okay? I hope you don't mind me asking," his warm voice came through the phone. "Is feeling better now. Thank you for your concern," Sophia replied, a sense of relief washing over her. Their relationship began to shift after an incident one late evening. Sophia was racing to complete a critical report when her computer crashed. Panicking, she called Lucas to request an extension. Without hesitation, he offered, "I'm at the office. Bring the files here and we'll work on it together." Sophia hurried to the office with the documents. In the quiet of the late night, they worked side by side. Noticing Sophia's stress, Lucas brewed a cup of tea and gently placed it in front of her. "You've done an amazing job. Let me take care of the rest," he said, his reassuring smile calming her nerves. For the first time, Sophia saw Lucas not just as a boss, but as someone who genuinely cared for her well-being, a companion who made her feel seen and valued in a way she hadn't experienced in years. Lucas also made an effort to bond with Sophia's children. One weekend, he invited Sophia and the kids for a picnic at the park. While Lila painted with Lucas, Oliver giggled as Lucas played catch with him. Lila turned to her mother and whispered, "Mom, Mr. Lucas is so nice." Sophia's heart softened, but at the same time she felt a pang of fear. Part of her wasn't ready to fully open her heart. "Am I rushing into this?" she wondered. One evening, Lucas asked to have a serious conversation. "Sophia, I care deeply for you and your kids, but I don't want to pressure you. I just want you to know that I'm here, and I'll wait until you're ready." His words, filled with sincerity and patience, deeply moved Sophia. It wasn't a rushed declaration of love, but a promise of respect and understanding. From that day forward, Sophia allowed herself to feel a new glimmer of hope. She realized that love didn't have to be something to fear. It could be a place of peace and true companionship. Sophia's life was gradually finding stability when the past reappeared, bringing with it a storm she didn't expect. One afternoon, as she was preparing documents in Lucas's office, her phone buzzed. The name Ethan flashed on the screen, making her pause. "Sophia, I need to see you." Ethan's familiar voice came through. "What's left to talk about?" she replied, her voice steady. "Please, just one conversation." I have nowhere else to go," Ethan pleaded, his tone weary and broken. Reluctantly, Sophia agreed to meet him at a cafe, but when she saw Ethan, she almost didn't recognize the man before her. He looked gaunt, his eyes hollow, and his posture that of someone who had weathered a storm. Ethan began to explain, his voice cracking. After leaving Sophia for Camille, things had initially seemed perfect, but when Camille gave birth, a brutal truth came to light. The child wasn't his. Camille confessed to having been involved with another man before meeting Ethan. "She left right after the baby was born," Ethan said, his gaze dropping in shame. But that wasn't all. During his time with Camille, Ethan became embroiled in a major lawsuit. He was accused of accepting bribes from a client, a scandal that led to his disbarment. With no job, no family, and now no Camille, Ethan was left in ruins. "I made a mistake, Sophia. I destroyed everything because of my selfishness. Now I don't know what to do anymore. I want to come back to you, to the kids," Ethan said, his voice pleading. Sophia listened to every word he said, but her heart remained firm. When he finished, she looked him straight in the eye and said, "Ethan, I'm not the person you can turn to just because you have nothing left. I once loved you, but you destroyed everything. I can't go back to you." Ethan's face fell with disappointment, but Sophia continued, her voice growing steadier. "This isn't about Lucas or anyone else. It's about me learning to value myself and not being the person you lean on when you've lost everything. I need to move forward, for me and for the kids." When Ethan left, Sophia didn't feel relief or victory, only a quiet sense of peace. That evening, she told Lucas everything. He listened with understanding, his eyes kind and free of judgment. "You made the right decision, Sophia," Lucas said. "But no matter what you decide, I'll always be here." Sophia looked at Lucas, gratitude swelling in her heart. She knew the path she had chosen was the right one, a path no longer bound by the past, but directed toward a brighter future. 3 months after turning Ethan away, Sophia entered the most transformative phase of her life. At Anderson Enterprises, she had become an integral part of major projects. Her dedication and talent impressed not just Lucas, but also the company's senior leadership. One day, Lucas called Sophia into his office. "Sophia, I'd like you to prepare a presentation for our upcoming strategic meeting." "I believe no one can do it better than you," he said, his eyes full of trust. Sophia felt both proud and nervous. This was a big opportunity, but also a significant challenge. She quickly dove into the work, putting in long hours to ensure everything was flawless. On the day of the meeting, Sophia walked into the boardroom with a confidence she had never felt before. In a room filled with investors and executives, she presented her ideas with clarity and conviction. Her solutions were not only innovative, but also supported by concrete data. When the presentation concluded, the room erupted in applause. Lucas, standing at the back, smiled with pride. As Sophia returned to her seat, he quietly said, "Sophia, you did an incredible job. Today is a big milestone for you." That evening, instead of inviting Sophia out to celebrate, Lucas had a different idea. "Sophia, what do you think about celebrating at your place with Lila and Oliver? I think it would be even more special to share this moment with your family." Sophia was surprised by the suggestion, but agreed. That evening, Lucas arrived at her home with a simple yet thoughtful dinner he had prepared himself: roasted chicken, vegetables, and a homemade dessert. When Lucas entered the house, Lila and Oliver ran up to greet him excitedly. He quickly immersed himself in the family's warmth, helping Oliver assemble a robot model and admiring the paintings Lila eagerly showed him. After dinner, Sophia and Lucas sat together on the couch while the kids played with puzzles nearby. "Lucas, thank you for thinking of this. Instead of celebrating in the traditional way, this feels so much more meaningful," Sophia said, her eyes full of gratitude. Lucas looked at her, a gentle smile on his face. "Sophia, I didn't just want to celebrate your success today. I wanted you to know that you're an amazing mother, a strong woman, and I deeply value being part of your life and your kids' lives." Lucas's words made Sophia's heart flutter. It wasn't just a compliment. It was an acknowledgement of everything she had worked so hard to build for her family. She realized that true love was about partnership and respect, not grand gestures or empty words. A year later, Sophia stood in front of the mirror, adjusting the elegant blue dress she had chosen for Anderson Enterprises' charity gala. She smiled at her reflection, a confident, strong woman, no longer a shadow of her past. In the living room, the laughter of Lila and Oliver echoed as Lucas helped them complete a science project. He had become an integral part of the family, bringing not only love but also safety and companionship. That evening at the lakeside park, Lucas had a big surprise for Sophia. After the family enjoyed a simple picnic dinner, Lucas knelt down, holding a sparkling ring in his hand. "Sophia, I don't just love you, I love the family you've built. Will you let me officially become part of it?" Tears of joy streamed down Sophia's cheeks. She looked at Lila and Oliver, their faces alight with pure excitement. And in that moment, she realized that this wasn't just her decision, it was their new beginning too. Smiling through her tears, she nodded. "Yes, Lucas, I will." As Lila and Oliver rushed to hug them both, Sophia felt her heart swell with happiness. After everything, she had found not just a new beginning, but a complete family, filled with love and unity.